In a small Irish town nestled in the peaceful countryside of County Galway, a haunting silence once lay buried beneath the grass. Tuam, a place that seemed like any other, hid a secret that would shake a nation to its core. From 1925 to 1961, the Bon Secours mother and baby home stood at the edge of this town. To the world, it was a sanctuary for unmarried mothers. But inside its walls, a much darker reality unfolded. Women who had committed no crime beyond giving birth outside of marriage were sent here in shame. They labored in silence, gave birth in silence, and in many cases watched helplessly as their babies withered away, unseen, unheard, and undocumented. These mothers, many still teenagers, were separated from their children soon after birth. In many cases, the babies were taken without consent, sent for adoption, often overseas, to families who had no idea of the trauma surrounding their arrival. In other cases, the babies simply died. The women were forced to work, cooking, cleaning, laundering, paying off the debt of their sin. There was no medical counseling, no emotional support. There was only obedience, silence, and shame. Over 36 years, 796 infants and young children died in the care of the home. But their final resting places were not marked by gravestones or memorials. Instead, they vanished into a silence so complete that even their names began to fade. The church said nothing. The state turned away. The townspeople whispered, but no one asked why. The mothers were told their babies had gone to America. Some were told they had been adopted by good Catholic families. Others were simply told their babies had died and were not allowed to see the body, the grave, or a certificate. The grief was made heavier by confusion, secrecy, and the crushing weight of shame. Years passed. The home closed. A playground was built over its grounds. Children laughed where cries had once gone unanswered. The truth slept beneath their feet. Until one woman, Catherine Corless, decided to ask questions. Catherine was not a detective. She was a local historian, a mother, a woman with an unshakable sense of justice. While researching the Bon Secours home, she began compiling the names of the children who had died there. One by one, she found their death certificates, all 796 of them. But when she searched for where they were buried, she found only 2 graves. It didn't make sense. Her investigation led her to an unassuming corner of the former home's grounds. Local rumors told of bones discovered during construction, a disused septic tank, some said, an odd concrete structure with no clear purpose. Could it be? Catherine pushed forward. Despite public skepticism, she shared her findings. Some called her a troublemaker. Others denied the possibility. But she refused to stop. And finally, in 2017, her fears were confirmed. A government commission investigating Ireland's mother and baby homes uncovered human remains, those of infants and toddlers buried within that old sewage system. They ranged in age from 35 weeks gestation to 3 years old. There were no coffins, no markers, no dignity. The discovery sent shockwaves across Ireland and the world. People asked, how could this have happened? How had it been allowed? Where was the church, the state, the compassion? But answers came slowly. Survivors of other homes began coming forward. Some had lived through neglect, hunger, even abuse. Others had siblings they never met, parents they never knew, identities stolen by institutions that erased the past. Adoption records were sealed, names were changed. Justice was elusive. Years passed, and still, the children remained underground. Families demanded action. Survivors shared their stories. Mothers came forward, now elderly, recalling the babies they were told had gone to America, or simply died. Many of them had never received a death certificate. Some had never seen their child again after birth. Finally, In 2025, the government took decisive action. Excavations began at the Tuam site. Leading the effort was Daniel McSweeney, a forensic expert who had spent years recovering war victims across the globe. Now, he and his team faced the heartbreaking task of recovering the remains of hundreds of innocent children. It would not be quick. The ground was waterlogged, the bones fragile. DNA was the only hope of putting names to these tiny remains. Families came forward with samples, hoping to finally learn the fate of a lost brother, a sister, a child. Day by day, the excavation unearthed not only bones but truths long buried. Some infants showed signs of malnutrition, others had illnesses left untreated. It became painfully clear. Many of these deaths were preventable. Many of these children could have lived, if only they had been cared for with even a fraction of the compassion they deserved. But Tuam was not just a single tragedy. It was a symbol of something larger, a legacy of institutional cruelty that had touched thousands of lives. Across Ireland, other mother and baby homes told similar stories. In Magdalen laundries, women had labored for years under the rule of nuns, their babies taken. In industrial schools, children had faced beatings, hunger, and abuse, all in the name of morality, all in the name of religious duty. In 2021, the Irish government issued a formal apology. A commission revealed over 9,000 children had died in homes like Tuam across the country. Many had been neglected, starved, or simply forgotten. Survivors were invited to testify, reports were written, but many felt the response was still not enough. Justice, for many, remained a distant dream. Reparations were offered, but not all were eligible. Access to records was still restricted, and some of the institutions involved continued to deny full accountability. The path to healing, it seemed, would be as long and painful as the history itself. Back in Tuam, Catherine Corless returned often to the site. She would place flowers on the memorial and speak quietly, sometimes to reporters, sometimes to the spirits of the children she had vowed to remember. "They have to come out," she once said. "These babies, these children, they deserve that. They deserve a name, a grave, and the truth." Her words echoed across the nation. Activists joined her call. Artists created works in memory of the children. Musicians composed songs of sorrow and remembrance. Writers documented the stories. And slowly, Tuam became not just a symbol of pain, but of reckoning, of truth, of collective memory. Today, Tuam is different. Children still play in its parks, go to its schools, and walk its streets. But now, there is knowledge. There is remembrance. What happened there is not just a history lesson. It is a warning, a reminder of what can happen when power is unchecked, when shame is weaponized, when society looks away. And though the children of Tuam never had a chance to speak, their silence has now become a cry heard across the world. Because of Catherine, because of survivors, because truth has a way of rising, no matter how deeply it is buried. They are no longer forgotten. They are remembered. They are honored. They are loved. This is not just about the past. This is about justice. This is about dignity. This is about finally letting the children of Tuam rest in peace, in memory of the 796 Tuam babies. Thank you for watching and taking the time to learn about this important part of our shared history. If this story moved you, please consider supporting Indigenous communities, learning more, and keeping these conversations alive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on stories that matter.